Yeah, Samara. Okay, so let's start. All right, so if you're able to, before we start our session, can you please grab a paper and a pen?
معي online notebook.
And what I want you to do, can you draw?
Yeah.
Okay, so please draw yourself. Okay, please draw yourself. And I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to draw yourself. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna pause the video. Okay? What I want you to do is for you to ask yourself, how do I look? And draw yourself to the best of your abilities. And whatever comes to mind, there is no restriction, but there is one condition. You draw yourself in the way that you imagine yourself. That's the only thing. كيف انت بتشوف حالك, you draw yourself. All right?
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna pause the video. In the meantime, if you have questions, you can ask. بس هو بداية الوركشوب هيدي ما كيفي.
Hi, Jana. Hi, everybody.
Okay. So the one thing that needs to happen is بس نمسك ورقة وقلم وبليز نرسم حالنا. هعطيكم 10 دقايق لتعملوا هيدا الشيء. I'm gonna pause the video. Okay. لهيدا الموضوع. Okay. And yeah, but I'm right here with you. I'm gonna be sitting here. So in case you need anything, I am here. Okay. If you're unable to draw yourself, then this workshop is really not, you're not going to benefit from it. You need to sit down and draw yourself. Make the conscious effort of drawing yourself. Okay, let's resume. Have we all drawn ourselves?
Yeah.
It wasn't that to get coffee. Okay, so let me just say, would anyone be happy to show the picture?
شو
الشيء اللي رسمه.
ما سمعت.
Okay. would you be happy to show us the picture?
Yeah, if you want.
Dima, would you be happy to show the picture?
Did you see mine في يطفي؟
Okay. So here, hmm?
Did you see mine في يطفي؟
Okay. Yeah. Dima, أنا يمكن في I can see yours on WhatsApp. Okay. So this is interesting. So both of you have done this thing for camera. Okay. And here are some to understand. Okay. Here are some for you to understand yourself better and to work on during your. Okay. So the first thing is, I'm going to look at understanding for you to understand it. If you draw anything that is square, shaped like square, it means that this part of your life is rigid. Now, in the case of Ziad and Dima, both of you have drawn yourselves as square. Okay, بهيدي المنطقة من هون. Okay, which means it's an indicator of a lot of judgment towards yourself. So it's that you feel like you are in a box, that you are being judged, you yourself. So both things work. You judge yourself and you are being judged. Okay, it works simultaneously. Everything that has to do with clear symmetry من هون. Why is that? Because we're not really symmetrical here. يعني لا بجسم أي إنسان he's never straight. Right? There's something going on. So when you draw something in a box, it means that you've placed it in a box. Okay? And now we'll talk about what that means on a physical, spiritual, and psychological level. Okay. When you draw something and you highlight it a lot, okay, that means that is where the area of darkness is. Okay, that's where the area of darkness is. Okay. Now, if there is an area that feels empty, awkwardly empty, يعني واحد مثلا ما معبيها. ديما رح ابعت your drawing to Ziad just for him to understand what I'm referring to. Okay. So, for example, you've drawn your ear. Okay. Your ears on both sides كتير طالعين لبرا comparing to what you've tried to draw. Okay. Will right ear, okay, more significantly so it's empty. Okay, إذا بنطلع ما فيها حلق ما فيها شيء. Okay. Also, your nose is relatively empty. Okay. عادة النوز بيلونوه انت منك ملونتي. Okay. So, and interesting because it's when we say we're going to a doctor, we say what? What's the doctor for? Ear, nose, right?
Ear, nose, and throat.
And throat.
Yeah.
And if you notice what you have done also with your throat, شايفي قد ايه مكبرتيه؟ يعني جاي كتير هيك. Okay, وكمان empty.
Yeah.
All right. So these are all indicators of something. Anything that feels empty means that there is a requirement of energy and investment to be put there. Anything that is highlighted with darkness means that it requires more correction. We understand the difference between things that have been colored and things that are empty. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. If the internet cuts, even for sending me a message, I prefer that than me saying yes, 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 because it's just wasting your time and it's fine. All right. So any place where you feel that you have drawn excessively and colored, and for example, another color, and we'll talk about what the colors mean, that means that this place requires cleansing. And any place that feels like it's empty and unusually empty, okay, that means that place requires more light and energy. All right. So now what do we do about this physically? When we speak about this physically, all right, it means that certain healing is required in those areas of body that feel that they are empty. And when we say healing, it means that they have a need that is not satisfied. The need for the throat, ears, and nose, that is all one element and one element only, and it is balance, equilibrium. And if you notice the way you have drawn yourself, your head is huge, your body is equally kind of proportional to your head, but then suddenly something happens, the legs and the arms, they're too thin for this drawing, even though you are kind of an artistic person, it relatively looks okay. All right. So from here, we understand that there is a greater need, or your body is seeking greater need for balance. All right. And the balance between the lower part and the bottom part is the balance between spirituality and sex. All right. There needs to be a balance between the spiritual and the sex. All right. Because also your choice of drawing here, okay, is that your legs are tied, your legs are crossed, if that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
So there has to be a balance between in the intellect, spirituality, which seems to be balanced. Your intellect and your spiritual standing seem to be balanced, but completely off the grid is sex. All right. So your body in this Ramadan or in this fasting period is seeking a balance between the spiritual and the physical. How can we achieve this? Okay. How do we achieve, and by the way, this applies to everyone. How do we achieve, right, a balance between basically our mind and the spiritual and our physical? And the first step is here to highlight taking action, right? Taking action. Because we said sex, and you're going to say to me, okay, maybe I don't have a partner, or maybe I'm not interested, or maybe, this is not on my books right now. That's fine. But then sex is the driving force of creation, which basically means action. All right. So anything that we want, that we feel we are inspired to do, we need to take action. And one of the tools that I would suggest for this is 1, 2, 3, take off. Right? 1, 2, 3, take off. Meaning if you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, but let me pray and meditate, and the day is dragging on. No, set a time for prayer, for meditation. That meditation needs to finish at a specific time. Okay, so أنا بخلص meditation at 7. 1, 2, 3, take off. All right, 1, 2, 3, take off. It cannot be that you are sitting in meditation all day, or I'm not giving an example of meditation. It could be potentially. Perhaps here you can cook. Maybe it is you can, get out of the house, meet people, and interact with people. There needs to be achieved a balance between, your spiritual, psychological realm and the realm of sex. Now, there's also one very interesting thing, that one of your hands, which is the left hand, and is dark, and your left hand, that's the right hand, the left hand, one of them is dark and one of them is light. And here one of the arms is weaker. Okay, please look at which one is weaker and work on those muscles. It means that you don't use it enough, and there's something that this hand wants to manifest that it is not. Okay? All right. Ziad, can you send me your drawing somehow?
Let me send it on WhatsApp.
Okay, so I read about that. That is something, again, I spoke in no, you can do physical things that don't have to necessarily to be exactly sex. All right. Ziad, I love the sun. All right. Okay. And I love the fact that you're staring at the sun. But this is actually, in this case, what do you think the sun is?
I don't know بس كتير كان عبالي أحط sun بالموضوع I put it there.
Okay. All right. So the sun is a distraction. All right. You're distracted. And the one element that you need to work on is not to look so externally anymore. All right. Because if you notice at the picture, you're also looking more towards the sun.
Yeah, but the sun came at the end فأنا ما بعرف.
That's fine.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with when the sun came and when the sun left. It's here simply, let me send it to Dima. Okay, the sun here is simply a distraction. That's not what was asked of you. And you were given enough time to reflect internally. But what did you choose to do to add more elements? All right? Perhaps you had more than enough time, perhaps, I don't know what happened. But regardless of what happened, you chose to go outside of yourself. You could have made yourself some ears for listening.
I forgot about the ears and neck, to be honest.
All right? So here again, now between what has happened here is that there is a proportionality. Yani your sex life, your spiritual life, and your psychological life, if you look at them, you've drawn them very equal to each other. Yani your head, your body, your actions are very aligned. But my concern is the choice of colors. The red is an indication of fire and fiery nature. And you've also chosen the sun. And because you have filled it, it means this is the element that needs correction. All right? This is the element that needs correction.
The fire?
You have too much, desire, too much fire, which is not with your. Do you want to guess what I'm going to say next?
No, فيك تعيد الجملة? I will guess after.
Okay, so it's too much fire, and too much distraction in comparison to what?
Going deeper?
What is empty in this picture?
My skin has no color.
The face.
No. The face, the head, the entire head is empty.
And
the eyes are empty. The nose is empty.
And
there are no ears, and there is no neck.
And he looks flying like an astronaut in the air. I don't know.
Yeah, true. True. Right? So basically, here what is happening is that the spiritual realm and the physical realm and the action realm are equal, which is great. Okay? But they're not filled equally. Right? You see them as equal, but they're not filled equally. And the dominance is this physical desires that are dominating, that are not allowing a free flow of energy into the spiritual realm. All right? It's an intellectualized spiritual realm. We didn't like that, or we don't agree, or we have questions before we move on to the next part.
No, it's fine. It's clear.
So what can we do? To be practical, what can we do? So when we are fasting, or when we set an intention to fast, our objective or our intention that we go into this, whether you're Christian or Muslim or any Abrahamic faith, your intention should be one towards God. But does God really need you to fast? Let's start with that question. Does God really need you to ask? What are the benefits to God if you fast?
Nothing. That's why I focus on my desires.
Okay. So if God has no benefits in fasting, why is it one of the oldest tools provided in the Abrahamic faiths? And why is it a pillar? Yani it's not just a tool, it's a pillar. Yani it's a foundation. Okay. We don't know. We're just fasting to be hungry.
No, it's sort of like a spiritual detox.
Okay. Any other guesses? Dima, you've been fasting a little bit longer.
We fast to become closer to God and to detox, to cure, to strengthen our spiritual practices, and to feel يعني to feel healthier, you know.
Is it
Okay.
to lessen the focus on physical desires?
Okay. The reason why we fast, and we study this in the Kabbalistic tradition, right, is that the soul is able to detach more from the body when the body is not consuming food. The reason why that happens, why the soul is more able to detach, is because in about 5 or 6 hours after you've started fasting, which is about when Dhuhr, where the sun is at its highest, right, hits in, all right, that is its ability, right, for the soul to really detach from the body and to be able to connect on some spiritual level to the light of the Creator. So yes, you do fast in order to attain nearness to the light of the Creator. All right? You fast to attain nearness to the light of the Creator. That should be your prime focus. That should be your prime focus when you're fasting, is coming closer to the light of the Creator. Your second intention is that your body needs to be cleansed enough that when you have fasted for 5-6 hours, it's elevating more. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that that sentence is making sense. So let's say, for example, you fasted for 5-6 hours and you are 10% clean. So your body is attacked, but the next day it needs to attach 12%, 14%. Does that make sense? Doctor?
Yeah.
Well, it's becoming too intellectual.
ضاعت ما فهمت أنا.
Okay. ليه بنحضر for fasting? Why is it that we just don't go into the month fasting? Why do we prepare? Why do we set intentions?
But we set intention for everything, no?
Well, okay, why do we set intention for everything?
To focus the blessings somewhere, no? Actually, I don't know.
All right. Every time you set an intention on something that is spiritual, the intention is always to get closer to the light. What does it mean to get closer to the light? It means to achieve devoka. It is to achieve closeness, nearness, imprint of the Creator. It is not about you wanting to be close to God or being similar to God. It is to act like God, right? That's the main aim of mankind, is to act like God, right? And in order for you to do that, your soul needs to attach more and more and more and more to the light of the Creator. It's a Sufi term called fana, right? That there's a fana ruh, right? So that means that your soul is completely embodied in the light of the Creator. In order for that to happen, okay, in order for that to happen, there's a certain amount of cleanliness that is required for the body to achieve. All right, and that cleanliness begins 5 or 6 hours after you stop eating and drinking, and ultimately it reaches its peak at noontime. The next day you reach a higher level. Now your body is more clean. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So what are so when we fast the month of Ramadan, and when we go ahead and have sex, and we have unsolicited sex, and you decide to swear at someone, what's happening بترم الافطار? Are you actually preparing more to be clean for the next day, or are you becoming dirtier, for a lack of a better word? You're becoming dirtier, right? So in this case, how do you, specifically both of you, reconcile your body and your mind? All right, let's your soul and mind. So the one thing that we're going to start with is the physical. Are you okay to start with the physical, or do you want to start with what you guys want to start? Let's make it more interesting.
Doesn't matter for me more.
Okay, based on your drawing, what do you feel is the physical aspect that needs work?
Desire عندي.
Okay, Dima.
You know, being
It's all
able
in the drawing, by the way, you guys.
being able to, I don't know, express myself. Yeah.
Okay, so physically speaking, how would you express yourself during the month of Ramadan? Okay, Ziad?
أنا? Answer that
Yeah.
question or answer physical aspect?
Answer your question, the one for you.
But I would say maybe listen more, be distracted less, give more attention to spirituality for the
Okay.
sake of spirituality.
Okay. And I would add to that, the number one success factor in spirituality, which is something very important in our days, which a lot of students are missing, and I find a lot of beings are missing, and a lot of spiritual teachers even miss that, is the ability to not compare, right? Because what is a distraction? Distraction is ultimately something you're comparing yourself to. At the root of every distraction is something that you are comparing yourself to. I don't have it, I have it, mine is better. No, it's not better. All right? So at the root of every distraction is a comparison, where you're comparing yourself to things you either have or don't have. They're better or worse, or you would like them and you would not like them. In this case, any distraction, including the idea of being spiritual, is a distraction in itself. So this Ramadan or this fasting period, if you have drawn yourself as an empty head, right, and there's, you know, distraction, something that you've put on the outside of you, which you're comparing yourself to, or which you're rotating around or about, it means that it is time to look inwardly, and your compass is only you. Your compass is only you. If you have drawn yourself that there's some sort of disbalance, right, between the spiritual and the physical action, it is time to express yourself more clearly, more creatively, whether with work, whether with art, whether with cooking, whatever it is. Walakin. And this is the curveball. Anything that doesn't generate money is a waste of time. Anything that doesn't generate money is a waste of time. It means it's becoming darkness. It is better to know one thing and apply it than 50,000 things and you don't apply anything. All right?
I have a question.
Yes. Just before, let me finish my idea, so we can finish from the physical realm. The physical realm is drawn in the painting that you are looking at. If you've drawn something dark, okay, معناتها بدنا نعمل استغفار على هيدا الموضوع. If you've drawn something light, it means that you need to do more of this in your life, especially during Ramadan. If there are disbalances, you need to look to balance them. If there are distractions, you need to focus more inwardly. If you are too plain, there's nothing there. All right. For example, Dima, you're not plain. Your hair was going on. There was something going on with the hair, right? But let's say, for example, you drew yourself as plain. Very simple. It means that there is a dimension of spirituality that needs to be added, and to look externally for answers and guidance. Ziad, ask your question.
You said anything that doesn't make you money is a waste of time, but no. For example, what if you read an hour a day or every other day? It doesn't make you money. The intention of it is not to make you money, but it's better than watching series. So is it still a waste of time? No. The idea of everything we should do should be making us money.
There's always a better way to spend your time. There's always a better way to spend your time. So of course, reading a book is better than watching a movie. Watching a series. Watching a movie is better than watching a series because the series drags on. But when I say anything that doesn't make you money, let's be more specific. You're still wasting time if you're not going to put what you study to use, even if it's being read from a book. Because you can watch a movie and you can learn something. And I was reading a book the other day, and it's a lady that launches things in 5 seconds. Okay, I think and basically what I just taught you, I got from her. Actually, I learned from her. It's a tool I gathered from her. Basically, the way she propelled herself out of depression into being active was because she was watching a documentary on how they launch a rocket. That rocket launch on a documentary could have been better than 100 self-help books that she was going to put on the shelf and not do anything about them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so like watching something was not a waste of time, but she
Yeah.
wasn't there looking for something to make money out of or learn. She just was open to it when no, I don't know. Maybe I'm just miscommunicating my idea. It's okay. I think I got the idea.
You're not miscommunicating your idea. It brings us to the second point, which we're going to talk about, which is your vision. All right. The reason why she was not wasting her time is the moment you set a vision for yourself. All right. The moment you set a vision for yourself, everything in the world conspires to give you the manifestation of that vision, including what you watch, including what you interact with, including everything. So if you set a vision, a version, whatever you want to call it, of yourself, in which you are organized, you're action focused, you really want to do this, you might fail 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, but eventually something has got to give. Do we understand this? And this is what the mental framework is. You need to set a vision for yourself. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes to set a vision for yourself this Ramadan. A clear sounding vision. Dima, the entrepreneur. Ziad, the French ambassador. Jana, the model for Dolce & Gabbana. Whatever, right? Whatever it is that you vision for yourself, set it right now. Tonight, already some people have started fasting, which is, within the Abrahamic faith. But tomorrow, this starts. Set a vision for yourself. Set a clear vision without fear. We want to be approved and we want to, please other people, and we want to play small. Today I was thinking about the vision of myself, and I was doing some paperwork, and I went into Shirkat al-Kahraba, and when things got hard, I knew he was ripping me off. Okay, كهرباء مقطوعة ما في متر كهرباء, but he wanted to charge 4 years ومكدس لي اياهم وبده $700. I knew he was ripping me off, but then I was like, oh, أنا ماني شاطرة بالمات, وبلشت من العربي للإنجليش وما بعرف على أحكي عربي وأنا جاي من لندن وبلا بلا. When and obviously I was just like, okay, why am I doing this? أنا وعم بعمل هيدا الشيء, I was like, why am I doing this? الزلمة بده ينصب علي $700. He is a crook and بيشتغل بشركة الكهرباء. يعني أنا بكل بساطة في يسجل الحديث هيدا كله وزدته بالحبس, alright, وتشك عليه وانشر حريمه على الجديد وعلى MTV وعلى بلا بلا بلا, right? And I'm watching this happen and I'm pretending to be the idiot who didn't like me, being, obviously the character, right? So what is the vision of yourself? And after I did this exercise, because I did this exercise in the afternoon, right? So when I did this exercise, like, this is not going on anymore. I literally had another meeting at 6 o'clock, and I was like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. And the light of the creator literally gave me the chance again to اني اعكب بحسابات. قلت له لا سوري برضه خلينا نجي على calculatrice. It had nothing to do with electricity. It had to do with something else, right? It had to do something with the center. Okay? Which is accounting for the center and how to نقدمهم على المالية وعلى وزارة الداخلية etc. And then I was like, rather than saying لا أنا ما بفهم فيهم وما بعرف عربي وأنت my accountant, I was like لا اوكي خلينا نقراهم وحده وحده, خليني اشوف شو هي المشكله. انت شو اللي عم بتقدمه للماليه وشو اللي عم بتقدمه لوزاره الداخليه. Today was a day of logistics clearly. right? So again, you have to picture yourself. Are you a successful business person or are you not? What is it that you want? What is the vision? And I'm going to stop talking now, but what is the vision of yourself that you want? I'm going to give you 1 minute because I was speaking and the vision, by the way, can change while you guys are writing the vision. Don't forget that the vision can change, right? You're not a stagnant human being. The vision can change. Once you achieve it, you achieve it. Move on to the next thing. You can be as broad as you want or as detailed as you want. It doesn't really matter. But it has to be a vision of yourself, a vision of something you want to achieve, a vision that you picture yourself in. All right. Does anybody want to share their vision? Does anybody want to share their vision?
And something related in healing and art, healing.
Okay. What is it?
عم بقطش
What is it? Something related to healing and art. What?
يعني ما بعرف art therapy.
Okay. Art therapy?
Yeah.
Okay, so clearly voice it. I want to become an art therapist. Dima wants to be an art therapist. Dima wants to be an art therapist. Can you come out and say it? I am an art therapist. Ziad?
A successful community and business leader, initiator of businesses.
Initiator of businesses. So it means you start businesses.
Yeah, no, I start a project and then I start another project, and then I go for another project until they become a little community of projects.
Okay, so this brings me to the next question, but that's good. Okay, so can you clearly voice it? I am this, voice it yourself. You can mute the mic if you want, but voice it yourself. This is what I am. This is vision of me. This is what I see myself becoming. All right? Now put a time on it. Put a time on it. When does this have to happen by? Yeah, you both have time. You've set 1 month, 5 years, 10 years. What is it?
فينا نحط 7 years نحطت.
You can put as long or as little as you want.
7 years negotiable. Wait, timeline to achieve or to be in the process?
No, time to have achieved and done with that. Okay? Now, what I want to go into is a little bit from a different lineage, but I personally love this. You know, in the Eastern traditions, there are three gods. Do you know this? There's the god of destruction, the god of birth, and the god of sustenance. All right? That is because, all right? One second. Okay, so basically, if we are to look at this tradition that says there's the God of creation, God of sustenance, and God of destruction, what is it that this tradition is really saying? That there are three types of people in this world. People that know how to initiate projects, that know how to start something. They have the fire, the energy, the desire. But then there are people who don't have that and who have the energy to sustain it, right? So they are hardworking, they have the logistics, they have the ability in Wirakzo, they have the ability to, make something happen. And who are the people of destruction? Are they bad people?
No, they bring change.
They bring change, absolutely. So given your vision of yourself, all right, given the vision of yourself, which God are you, for a lack of a better word? Of course, in the Abrahamic faiths, we believe in one God. There's only one God. This is just metaphor. Which person are you? To know something. If you're not an initiator, then this Ramadan or this fasting period, you can create that energy. If you're not a sustainer, this period, you can create that. If you're not someone who can change easily and adapt, this is the period to create that. What are the tools that are given to us by the Creator in order to tackle these three things? If you're an initiator, all right, what is it that is the prayer to become an initiator? Hello? عم بيقطش or
I don't know what. No, but I don't know what the prayer is.
okay. all prayers that start with initiate أرزقني ألهمني زدني علما أهدني right, all these words are initiator words, right? Which are indication that you need something and you want something in order to start. Sustenance ones, the sustainer ones. Follow follow guidance, arini, right? All of these things, right? The ability to see is something that has already manifested. So these things are for us to see. What about the person who needs to bring change?
قوّني.
No, it is all the things that have to do with repentance. Astaghfirullah, zabbit, right? All of these things. All right? Okay, we're clear on this?
So do
Do
we
I
pray
repeat
for
them?
the type we have?
You pray for the type that you need in order to make your vision alive. If you're a good initiator, you need now sustainer. If you're a good sustainer, you need a lot of istighfar in order to see something that needs to change. If you don't have what it takes to sustain, you need to pray for something new. Yes? All right, so this is one of the things. So what are the tools that we learned today, practically going into Ramadan? You weren't expecting this. I bet a lot of people were expecting more religious stuff, but actually that's not what's missing. What's missing in the world today is the right consciousness in order for you to actually benefit from what it is that awaits you during Ramadan. And what it is that awaits you is a new version of you. All right, that is what's awaiting you, because we always say ينعدل عيد returning back to your fitra, which is to return back to your original state and to recommit to the things that you came here to achieve, because this is the time, during the time when you are doing these fasts, this is when you can train your body and your mind and your spirit to achieve those states of consciousness. Here I want to say something. Of course, medicine aside, every person should make an effort and make diligent effort to fast according to tradition. Because today is not just something that benefits your body, it is wiring your brain, all right? It's making you sharper, it's making you and it is giving you more connection to the Creator. As simple as that. All right? Yes, you deal with the, yes, but actually fasting gives you a connection to a Creator. There's something that it does to your body that sits you in serenity, that enables you to now clearly create a vision of what you want for yourself. So I'm going to recap very quickly for you to understand the steps. The first step is to draw a version of yourself. Anything that you have darkened, it requires istighfar. Anything that light means that it requires, you start, if we're to start by looking at our physical attributes are ones that require us, through the idea of elimination of food, of fasting of food, all types of food, or maybe some types of food, right, is to cleanse our body in order for the body to be able to connect to the divine light and draw divine light in order to sustain itself. When we speak about self, it means the vision of ourself. And what is the vision? The vision is something that you need to create and put 4 principles on it. It needs to have a time frame. You need to decide whether you're a good opener, closer, or starter. You need to look at the tools that are given to you in Ramadan that enable you to achieve this. So for example, if it is money that you need to donate money. If it is love that you need to, be more with the community and be trust. If you want more blessings, you need to be kinder to your parents and to people around you. It depends what it is that you want. Going into Ramadan, I'm gonna be righteous. You're setting yourself up to fail. Going into Ramadan not prepared at all, setting yourself up to fail. And the fourth, all right, is you have to out of your comfort zone, right? You have to get out of your comfort zone. You cannot say, oh, I'm not gonna fast because it's not comfortable for me or I'm sick or whatever. Everybody can fast. No exception can fast. The last and things that I want to speak about, let me know if there are any questions.
امتى رمضان؟
The first day where you zip it is Wednesday, I believe.
So Ramadan is on Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay.
So Tuesday night starts.
Tuesday, sorry, ما سمعت.
Tuesday night it starts.
Yeah.
All right. Now, going in final thing, on as it is custom, okay, on the first night of Ramadan, we start prosperity circle, where we read Surah Al-Baqarah, in a certain way. Tomorrow, we're going to start that, okay, for 14 nights, okay, for the of enhancing our prosperity life of prosperity. The second thing we're going to do this Ramadan, which is in you, is we're going to optimize Laylatul Qadr and help some of our students marriage. All right. So also we will be sending out tools of what to read on the last nights, and we will be reading it together. Surah Al-Baqarah will be read every night at 10 p.m. Beirut time. All right. We will log in at 10 p.m. Beirut time to read it together for the first 14 nights. If there are no more questions, then I will love and leave you. But if there are questions, I'm here to answer them.
No questions. Thank you.
Dima? No problem. Useful?
Thank you, Jana.
Not useful. No problem.
No.
Useful, not useful.
Ça va, useful.
So useful. All right. Ready? Do you feel like you're a little bit more tangibly, practically to start Ramadan?
Inshallah.
To start fasting? Inshallah. All right. ينعاد عليكم. And yeah.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow for the first night of walk.
Yeah. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye bye.